to be with you. Joining me today is Marney Perna, and this is our first show for 2021. Yay!
I know. Welcome the new year.
I know, isn't it fantastic? Before we start, everybody, I'd just like to remind you that Angel Heart radio shows should never replace your legal, medical, nor professional advice, nor your own sound judgment. Please listen and enjoy the fun that Marney and I are going to create today. We always have fun on this show. And if you would like to join in the conversation, as we would love you to do, please go to Angel Heart Radio Facebook page. That's where you can make comments. If you're watching anywhere else, welcome as well. If you are watching this as a podcast, you can still make comments on the Angel Heart Radio Facebook page. And we look forward to any comments, any feedback that you have. Marney and I are always interested in presenting information that you are after. So please reach out. This is a great opportunity, Marney, for you to talk about Kinesiologist and how people can reach out to you there as well.
Absolutely. So my name's Marney and I'm Annette's co-host, and I'm the owner of a lovely little home-based natural therapy clinic called Kinesiologist, where you are the important person. So I help people cope with stress and release traumas and blockages that have been affecting their lives for many, many years, sometimes decades, and they can move forward happily and freely.
Fabulous. And we have Gabby joining us from Western Australia. Thank you, Gabby. It's early for you, Marney. It's even earlier for Gabby. Amazing.
Yeah.
So,
welcome, Gabby.
Yes, wherever you are. And what a blessing that Gabby is with us. What a blessing we have an audience. And that's what we're talking about today, Marney. Blessings, blessings. And I'd thought of this topic because the blessings that we see readily, we're grateful for. Sometimes I believe we're unaware that something in our life is in fact a blessing when we probably see it as something totally different.
Yeah. Sometimes you're so busy in whatever's going on in your life, you forget to acknowledge that small things create ripples that create bigger impact on our health and wellness as well. So, blessings, you can't beat looking for and acknowledging blessings as a positive move forward.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I look at Gabby and she said the fact that it's early in Western Australia is great because she gets to see us before she goes out. So there's a way of looking at that rather than thinking, oh, my goodness me, I've got to be up at 7 o'clock or whatever time it is to take in the show. It's the fact that, yes, it's possible. I know some of the podcasts that I choose to watch are very early in the morning here. However, I think, well, great, yes, why not?
Yeah, up and out. Yeah. Well, my blessings this morning were to be woken up with my two little granddaughters. So we've had them sleep over the last 2 nights and they potter in at, sparrow time, which allows you to, allows you to get ready early. And I was able to take them up to daycare a bit earlier. So I was back well in time for this, which is good.
Yeah, lovely.
Absolutely. And another blessing is having a tad of asthma at the moment. So that's making me slow down a little bit and just be aware of my breathing and capacity. So if I start coughing or sounding a bit funny, I'm just swallowing my cough. So I've got my nice herbal tea here for me, so that'll be nice.
See, I like the way that you say, oh, it's helping to slow you down. I think our bodies, as you're well aware, send us messages all the time, don't they?
They certainly do. Your body talks to you unendingly. It's just, are you aware of what it's saying? Are you listening to what it's saying? And are you ready to do what it's telling you? Because if you don't, it gives you all these little hints. And if you don't listen to those little hints, it says, okay, you're not hearing me, I'll give you a bigger one. And then you have to do what it's wanting you to do anyhow.
Yes. And that, if we wait long enough, that can be a real imposition. That's the slightest thing it can be. Yeah. So
it's you need to start listening, or sometimes, we don't even realize we're using language that is giving us a hint as well. And you realize that when you listen to a recording. So if you're used to recording your voice, or you're in a show, or you're doing something and you've recorded that, listen back to the language that you're using, because there will often be a hint. You're so used to saying these words that you don't hear them. So listen to something you've been talking with someone, and you'll get some hints, and you go, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I was using either that terminology. What does that terminology relate to in my health and wellness? Because we talk a lot about health and wellness, and a big part of health and wellness is your mental health and well-being, because it's your headspace that really can take you down into the doldrums and stop you looking for blessings.
Right.
So you need to get that headspace a bit clearer so that the blessings can come through and you can acknowledge them.
That's a good point about language. I know one time a friend pointed out that I was using a particular word, and I forget now what it was, but I found that very helpful, and said, thank you, because sometimes we're not aware of our own language.
Well, it's just part of our everyday talk, so you're not used to monitoring that. It's only when you listen back you go, oh gosh, I didn't realize I used that word. Even if it's a yet or or whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. It's an awareness that you're overusing a word.
Right. Welcome to Laurie. I'm wondering where Laurie is from. I sense America or Canada.
Okay.
I could well be wrong.
We'll find out.
Yes, hopefully we will. This is one of our blessings, Marney, that for 12 months now we've been on Facebook Live, and I know you've been doing Facebook Live for a lot longer than that yourself. And what a wonderful medium to be able to reach out to people.
I think it's brilliant. I love it. I love the capacity that we have to reach people that we would not have had the opportunity to do pre-internet or even pre-Google, when it's just an amazing tool when you use it to its advantage for you. When you take the blessings of Facebook, and a lot of people get very stressed with Facebook. I love Facebook because it's an education, it's an informative, it's social, it's interactive, you can be as engaged as you want to or not. So it's up to you to make that decision. How do you want to engage? And if you find you're engaging in a negative way, well, that's impacting how you feel personally as well. So let it go. Walk away, let it go, or you can unjoin things. If you're in a group and it's not supporting you, or you're not feeling supported in it, don't stay in the group. No one will care. So you've got to look after you. So you're the most important person. So look at things that are downgrading your energy field and release them. You do not need them in your life. And then find the blessings, find the gratitude, find the things that are making you feel uplifted and happy.
Good point.
Even when you're down.
Now, Anaya has joined us, which is very nice. And she's saying, she's talking about language, Marney, as you were, and how she recently was saying something to someone, words she hadn't realised she was using quite a lot. And it made her realise that right there, that language, those words were the key to something major that's been happening in her life these past few years. I mean, wow.
Yeah. I mean, they're so, words have total energy. So a word can inflate or it can deflate. It can energize or de-energize. It can make you feel loved or lacking in love. Right? And words, even the same word, can have a different meaning or a different connotation in whatever you're using it in the sentence you're using it in.
As can the tone in our voice.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's where we get into a lot of strife, not us personally maybe, but people can get into a lot of strife with a written word. So a written word hasn't got quite the same energy. It's got the impact, but it hasn't got those nuances in it. So you could be looking at someone and say, I hate you, but you're smiling. So they know it's a joke. All right. So they know some little joke between you that you're using those words. If you say, I hate you in a letter or in an email, the impact is, whoa, that's horrible, because you can't, even if you put a smiley face, it's still a in your face statement. All right.
Well,
so I have to be aware of that.
Yeah. I had this situation just a day or so ago where I was interacting through text with the son, and I knew what I meant to say, and I thought I'd said it clearly, but he had completely the wrong attitude, wrong response. And so fortunately, he said to his wife, he was doing something else, ring mum and check, thank goodness. And I thanked her so much, because I was wanting to support them, and he was really unsure about what I meant. So, yeah, we do have to, I love, there's a place for texting. There's a place for all of these things. However, we do have to be so, so careful.
And communication channels.
Check in.
They're all ways of communicating, and you can do that verbally or non-verbally, and you just have to find the best way.
Yeah. Now, Marnie, I would like to give a little plug to everybody for Annette and Carol Ann, who come up an hour and a half after our show finishes, because they're with Philip this morning, and they're going to be talking about Alzheimer's. And I know that that's a very, very upfront
absolutely
topic at the moment, isn't it? People are, really.
I think
it seems to be very prevalent.
Do you think it's more prevalent, or is it that we are at an age where it's making more of an impact and we're being able to talk about it a lot more?
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, though, is it because there are a lot of things out there that appear to be more prevalent today that I believe impact on our life? Well, no, sorry, it's our lifestyle impacting.
Yeah, could be. I just know my demographic, so I'm in the 60, 70 bracket, and I'm caring for older people. I'm caring for my dad. I'm seeing the people in his environment being cared for as well. So I'm seeing a lot more of that than even when I was caring for mum, and that was 5 years ago. All right, so we're same age virtually, but I wasn't seeing the impact as much, whereas now more stuff about things like Alzheimer's and dementia and stuff like that is coming across my field of influence. So that's another thing. We end up with it becomes part of your subconscious awareness, or your subconscious awareness brings it forward to your conscious awareness. So then when you hear something about it, you go, I know about that. I need to know. Because I don't know about you. You'll be doing something on the computer, and something will pop up either in an ad or somewhere, and you go, oh, that's interesting, and you'll click on it. You've got no idea where you initially found that link to go and look. We go down almost not a rabbit hole, because I find it amazing, and the most amazing opportunities happen because you've clicked on that link. And it's not about winning the lotto and stuff like that. It's about information and filling a spot that was missing that you needed for the next thing. And part of mine is I have a certain space in my head that becomes my conscious awareness about my clients. So I don't always have or know about some of the conditions they have, but I'll start investigating them so that I can support them in their journey. And then things will come up, and I'll go, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I need for this person. And yet it wasn't what I started looking for.
Right. See, I see that as synchronicity.
Oh, absolutely.
And how things flow. When we're in the flow, when we trust the process, it's incredible how, what is it when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and we can say that with information as well.
And my grandfather used to say necessity is the mother of invention as well. So when you have a need, you'll discover things that show up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's up to you. You need to see it, but Annette, if you don't notice it, if you don't notice the message, it'll pass by.
Oh, and that's what we're talking about today, isn't it? Are we aware of our blessings? You've pointed out yours this morning. For me, awareness is, mindfulness, being thankful for the fact that I can raise a cup and have water while I'm on air.
Yeah, and you haven't had to carry it up a hill. Turn a tap on and it comes. What a blessing, you know. And how annoying is it when the tap doesn't work?
Exactly. And how fortunate
you need to. Blessings come in all shapes and sizes and degrees as well. And don't discount the little ones. So some of the little ones create that energy or that field of gratitude and abundance. So, you know, as you say, having a drink of water is quite a basic thing, but the blessing for that is you were able to have it, you were prepared to have it, so you thought of it before you went on the show, and you didn't have to carry the bucket up the hill.
So true.
You know, if it was someone who carried the bucket up the hill, they have more of a gratitude for the fact they can have a drink of water.
Yeah, wow.
Clean.
Yeah. Welcome, Londa. And
I do gosh, all these people. How lovely.
I know, isn't it wonderful? And Londa's over in Washington State in the US. Wow. So welcome, Londa.
Lovely. Has anyone got any questions for us about blessings? Or how do you count? How do you get
I'd
blessings?
like people to share also blessings that they've found, discovering.
Yeah. It's a word I use when I sign off on a lot of things now. I go angel hugs and blessings. And then sometimes when I'm doing a more structural letter, I'm thinking, should I put that? And I go, yeah. May as well. So, well, I tend to doing at the moment, you know, being able to give people a virtual hug is just very significant.
Yes, yes. Well, and also for a long time I've said love and gratitude. Because and I know with more formal letters I sort of think, oh, that's maybe not the way. And yet, well, why not? Why not pass on the love? I was listening to a DJ the other day who signed off and said, you know, love you all, or something, love you. And I went, oh, how lovely. You know, we're spreading the love, because love comes in so many different forms. You know, we have love for a spouse, love for our children, love for our grandchildren. And I don't know about you, Marnie, people, when we have our first child and it's like, oh, my goodness, and then you think, how could I possibly love another one the same? Well, we do. And people who have big families, I'm sure they've got love for everyone and
have the capacity.
So it seems to be a never-ending well. So, and the more we share it, the more we receive.
Absolutely. And that's why you have to be so careful about looking after yourself and giving yourself the blessings as well, because it's from your cup that you share that love and that care arrangement and that knowledge and empowerment. So if you're feeling downgraded, if you're not feeling in high energy, I call about, you know, life energy. We've got to have our life energy really, really high. And that helps us to cope. It helps us to be joyful. It helps us to be happy. You quite often find that people who have found the way to tap into their happiness or their joy don't feel as affected by lack of blessings, because it's something that's part of their psyche. They're already in that space to look for their blessings and to count them and to acknowledge them. So you often find that people they've got lower life energy, or there's a lot of trauma happening in their lives, have less capacity to look for and acknowledge a blessing.
Right.
They might down the track, but in the midst of chaos, it's not the easiest thing for them to count their blessings. So for those people in that situation, it really is a choice you make to look for blessings, and make it simple. Don't make it complicated. You know, simple, keep it simple is so good, because if you're already in a space where you've got low life energy and high stress or trauma, you haven't got capacity for really creative thinking. So you've got to really go back to basics and look for those blessings. And it, as I said, it needs to be simple.
Yes.
But acknowledge it as a blessing.
I'm hoping that some of the comments that people are leaving here will help other people. For instance, Laurie has said, I'm blessed to have found Anea Joy Whole Lily 11 years ago, along with the Blog Talk Radio. Her book is amazing as well, which I agree. I have so many blessings in my life. Well done, Laurie. And thank you for acknowledging Anea Joy Whole Lily, which is the reason why Marnie and I are here. And And also Anaya's book. It is an amazing one, The Angel Code. And Marnie, I know you have a book as well. Before I go on to the other blessings, that's a blessing. You've blessed us with your book, as has Anaya.
Yeah.
You're creating calm
amid chaos. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I just got my 3rd reprint. It was very exciting to get the box of books. 3 boxes actually, came in 3 separate boxes. It was lovely.
Oh, wow.
I know. Yeah.
So if this is the first time people are hearing about your book, they can reach out to you at kinique.com.
Yep, they certainly can. I'm on Facebook. I'm on lots of places. I'm in LinkedIn. I'm in all of them. So find out and reach out.
Good.
And it's in 3 formats too. So a bit like Anaya, I've got it in. I'm not sure if Anaya's done the audio yet, but mine is available in an audio version, an ebook, and a hard copy. And if you contact me to buy the hard copy, especially if you leave me a note on the order, I will sign it for you because I love signing it. One of my blessings is signing my books.
Yes, see, look, gorgeous.
Yeah.
And for me, it's lovely to see, to open a book at some stage and reread the author's.
That someone has sent it to someone or given it to someone.
Yeah.
I can remember at a time I was a guest speaker at a new group, and a lady won my book, and I inscribed it for her, and I said, "You are the most amazing and wonderful person. Hug and blessings, Marnie." And I got an email back, or it must have been an email or a text message, it might have been, that said, "I have no idea, or I had no idea of the change or impact that transcription made on that person, because she was at a stage in her life where things were really, really down. And she couldn't believe that someone who was a speaker took the time to acknowledge her name and to tell her how wonderful she was. And she said she hadn't been told she was wonderful for decades. And she said it just gave her such a lift and such a glow to think that someone thought she was. And, just the blessings of a few words and positive words that you can write in a book personally to someone, and signing it was it just was life-changing for her. And as an author, it doesn't get any better than that.
Oh, amazing. We never know the impact, and it's wonderful to have that feedback.
Absolutely. It was just delightful to get it. Yeah.
She shared with you.
Yeah. Because she could have kept that quietly, and I would have had no idea or no knowledge of the fact that it made it such a difference in her life.
So there is another blessing. How often do we express our gratitude or to share an experience with others, to say, hey, you had no idea on da-da-da.
Yeah.
Belinda Brown has joined us. And Belinda says,
people.
Yeah, whenever I have travelled, the biggest blessing is coming home, is having running water, depending on where we've travelled to. I agree. What a blessing to just be able to turn on the tap with fresh water.
Yeah, yeah. We are blessed, and I think you don't realise that unless you go somewhere where there is a lack. So I live in Queensland, in Australia, in Brisbane, in an outer suburb of Brisbane, and we don't have town water.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that sounds bizarre in this day and age. It does go past the property, but we've never tapped into it. So we operate from tanks. So we're very aware of water, and our grandchildren have got to know very much about water, because when water's low, they can't have a deep bath. So they're aware of that as well. So, it's not that unknown. And look at all the people in the country who've got to keep the water for their crops and things like that. I can remember as a very young girl, we used to travel to my uncle's farm, and my parents would lecture us, a family of 4. We get this lecture from the time we left home to the time we got to the farm. Don't waste water. They've got no water. Don't ask for water. Don't do anything. And I think the first thing any of us ever did when we got out of the car was ask for a drink of water.
Yeah.
You just had to have a drink of water, and you didn't have any concept of the fact there was no water, because we lived in normal houses that had taps.
Right.
But if you stayed there in the season where there was no water, they used to heat the water. There was no hot water, so the water got heated with a coil. They used to put a coil in a bucket, and that would be tipped in the bath. And honestly, you'd get about this much in your bath, and that had to do with everyone. And you go,
Yes.
I can't believe this. But it didn't make sense because you were looking at it from a child's perspective and a perspective from a child that hadn't lived that situation.
Yes.
So it didn't the fact that you were told not to ask for water didn't make any sense because you just drank water.
That's right. Yeah, they had taps. There was water coming out of them.
Yeah, well, they had taps as well. They didn't work.
Yeah.
There's no water came out of them.
Dear. Now, Gabby's saying that her opportunity to do aged care is a blessing. It pretty much appeared and was handed to me. So, Gabby, well done for being aware, because sometimes opportunities can appear and they can pass us by because we're not looking for them or not seeing them as they might be.
They're not in your conscious awareness, Annette.
Oh, is that what it is?
They go past and you haven't noticed it. It's because it's not part of your current criteria in your mindset and in your energy field. And that's where the vision boards come into play beautifully. I do vision board workshops and everything for people. With a vision board, you're casually looking through magazines. You're not specifically looking for anything in particular. So you're flicking through magazines and you see a picture. Oh, that's pretty. Cut it out. You see a word. Oh, I like that word. Cut it out. And you end up with this big pile of pictures and words that you didn't realize made an impact on you. And you don't know why at the time. And I tell my clients, don't worry about the why. Just cut it out. Because if you don't use it, I'll put it in my pile that people use that are looking for something specific, and it might be for them. And when you've done that and you create your vision, a lot of things on there aren't things that you thought you wanted. They're just things that look nice. But your subconscious has said, you need to see that. You need to acknowledge that that picture is relevant. And there is an example of a lady who did one, and she didn't know why she was doing it. It was a free thing in the library. I used to do them for the library. And she'd cut out a picture, a bit like Gabby. She'd cut out a picture of a child in a daycare situation because she thought it was cute, and put it on her vision board and a lot of other things. And it turned out that she then later on was flicking through the newspaper. She'd lost a job and she was thinking about what she wanted to do. And an ad was in the newspaper, which normally she wouldn't have seen, that said, childcare workers wanted. Here's free training. And so got a job in childcare, but didn't realise she was even interested in that.
Fascinating, isn't it? Because Gabby's saying she thought of Dr. Ruth standing outside her mother's window, and I wanted to be a loving person there for loved ones.
How lovely. Yeah.
Beautiful. And Gabby made a vision board about a month ago.
Oh, well done, Gabby. You can see mine up in the top corner there. I made a red one this year, and red's all about action.
Whoa.
Bringing a few things to fruition.
Is your word for this year action?
It was action, yes. Yes, for red, yeah. Action, actioning, a derivative of the word as well. And excite. I had a couple this year. Excite came into it as well, and excite was the red of excitement. So I sort of thought, okay, which one? And I'll put them together. But I didn't ever think I'd do a red vision board. It wasn't a colour that had ever come through before. I'm like, red, really? Why not? As long as I can get the paint, I can do it.
Well done. So you paint the board before you put other things?
I do. I make mine picture like paintings. So I buy canvases and paint the canvas.
Ah, right. Okay.
So when my clients come to attend the vision board workshop, I've got them in array, so they get to see all these colourful canvases in the room. And I just say to them, go and pick one. It doesn't have to be your favourite colour, but just go and pick one. And whichever colour they pick, that again is a positive move for them, because I then do an angel reading on the colour and give them the blessings of that, and give them the animal totem, which is another extra blessing I can give them because I now have that knowledge. So, there's all these little extras that you get that form these vision boards. And sometimes people pick ones and they go, I don't know why I picked this colour. But when they hear the words of what the colour represents, they go, oh, that's why I needed that. And it makes sense. Right. And they're just stunning. I love them. So.
Well, Gabby's saying she made hers on an old canvas.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So now, Marney, have you kept your vision boards? Because I know you've been making them for several years.
I have. I started making them, I would think 2011 is my earliest, and I had no idea what I was doing. I was just going to seminars that were talking about inspiration and hope and how you count your blessings and how you create blessings in your life. And I'm going to do one of these. I don't know what it's going to do, because it was at a time of lack in our life. It was a time of a bit of trauma in health and wellness, in family, in financial. A lot of things were going on. And I thought, I'm going to do one of these. And it's an interesting one. So I keep them all because I do the workshops, and I will often bring them out to show people the different things that may have happened.
Right.
That have come to fruition. Now, they don't always come to fruition that moment, but it's amazing how often it happens. I get a call and they say, you've got no idea. This has happened now, today. I go, well, there you go. Say thank you. And so I do use them as a display to show people how they can be all different too. Because like you can have them in a landscape, or you can have them up in vertical.
Right.
Some people put, some years you find it's all words. And then some years you find it's all pictures, and you've got to look for words. So it just depends. It's however you want to do it. And there's no right or wrong. You can't do one wrong. I remember one lady was saying to me, she'd cut out things, and some of the stuff she'd put on her vision board were things like a fridge and a wash machine. And then when she saw all the other people, she felt that hers lacked a little bit. And I said, have you got a fridge and a wash machine? She said, no. And I said, well, it's perfect. Put it on there. The universe will conspire to get them for you. It's an added connection to the universe saying, oh, this is really what I need and would like. And she did she get them. But she was disappointed in her vision board because she thought that was too practical. But that's what she needed. She needed that practicality. She needed to capture some of those thoughts so that they weren't running around in her head like Groundhog Day.
Right.
Couldn't see the blessings in her life because there was so much need and trauma happening, but she needed to release some of that so the blessings would show up.
Now, Gabby's saying she had to layer her board because there was so much in there.
I just say to clients, I give people an hour and a half to cut out pictures and words, and then an hour and a half to create it. I find if people can't finish it in that time, you can go back and add it. But if people don't finish it in that time, they're trying to fit too much, and their life is sometimes like that.
Right.
You know, but there's more. You know, steak knives as well, and then there's this and there's it. Bring it back. Give yourself a time limit. Do it in that time limit. You can revisit it. And I'll often, if I've noticed something's happened, I'll actually put something else on top of what's already happened, because that allows it, because there's usually a flow. So you can alter it through the year. It's
That's
not
a great idea.
Yeah. And I make mine, I'm very blessed. I can do mine on the 1st of January every year. It's my time for me to create a vision for myself, my family, and my business.
Lovely. So do you follow your own theory of an hour and a half for cutting?
Yeah, generally, yeah, because you don't have all day usually. So I do, because I find that, like, if you can put time limits on some things, it helps you to know when to stop. Otherwise, you would keep going. And I have a bag. I have this great big plastic bag full of pictures and words, all of them inspirational, all of them lovely, that people have cut out because they really wanted to put it on their vision board and it didn't fit or it didn't suit or whatever. So I say, well, don't throw it out because it's nice. Let's recycle it for someone else.
Sure.
Have you made one?
Oh, years ago. You're inspiring me, Marnie.
Well, do one for this year, for your new start.
See, I tend to do things in my head and then put it on a board.
Bring it out. Let them out. Release them.
I do. It's fascinating, but I hear you. I do hear you. Now, Talisa, I hope I'm saying this correctly. Talisa, welcome. She also, I also like what it says, because I do need to do de-stress. She wants to de-stress her life so my health can be better, but I don't know what to do. Help. So she wants to know how to start a board, I think.
Just ask her, is that in relation to a vision board or is it in relation to health and wellness?
Well, I get the sense that she does want to work on her health. And she's going to do a vision board. So I think what you've been saying.
Talisa, if that's how we excuse me.
And now Talisa is asking, yes, how to do a vision board, and Belinda's inspired. She's going to do a vision board. Good on you, Belinda.
Absolutely. So Talisa, how to do a vision board is you get some magazines and you casually glance through them or flick through them and cut out words and pictures that make you feel happy. You look at them, oh, isn't that nice? Cut it out. All right. If you've got a few specific things in mind, you can look for them later. But initially, just let your subconscious awareness play. And don't worry about cutting out magazines. You're recycling, so you're doing a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you get a piece of, you don't have to do it on canvas. The reason I use canvases is you can hang them on a wall. They sit better. You know, the cardboard ones often fall off. But if that's what you've got, do it on a cardboard. It won't matter. And if you pick a color, if you find a colored cardboard and you want to know an angel reading, let me know. Just find me on Facebook or Angel Heart Radio and ask me the color, and I'll do an angel reading on the color you picked. All right. And then when you've got all your pictures and words, just sit there and place them at random on your board. And you go, oh, no, that doesn't look right. I'm going to move this picture here or do something there. And then you're creating a picture. So you're like an artist. You've just created a beautiful blueprint for a better future. That's what you do. And then when you're gluing it, just take one off at a time and glue it, because otherwise if you take them all off, you've forgotten where you placed them. And another trick is to take a photo with your phone or your iPad of the way where you placed them. So if they all come off, you can look at that and go, oh, that's where I wanted that. And that's how you start. And what it does, it sends the message. It creates a blueprint or a map for a better future.
Oh, and so Talisa is asking, okay, how do you get better health? And just before that, Gabby was saying she doesn't have magazines, so she used images on Google.
Yeah.
How clever. If you're tech savvy,
absolutely. I just find the images on Google, they're really good. And like you can just Google anything. What I find with the magazines, it's that action of just flicking through is what I like. And you can go to your local libraries and they will give you old magazines, or go to your newsagent and tell them you don't want a current magazine, you don't need the front cover, and have they got any that they're throwing out.
Oh, and what a good idea.
And I often find them there's often a throw out bin, like you might have to pay $2 or $3 for a magazine, but they might normally be $14, and you don't want to always pay $14. So I'll often look in front of newsagents. They'll often have a bargain basket, and flick through there and find some really, like, my advice is don't find New Idea or Women's Day. They're more sensationalism. They're not as joyful. You don't find as many good words. Women's Weekly, or Health and Wellness, or even House and Garden, all those kind of positive ones have nicer pictures in them. And I've always got a range of things like caravans and motorbikes and cars and things like that. Road Ahead. I mean, Annette blesses me with her Road Ahead from Victoria, or the Victorian counterpart. And they have nice pictures of people going on holidays and caravans and nice places to go and visit. So that's the other thing is magazines at the moment. It's a bit awkward with travel, but, get some photos of places that make you happy and cut pictures of those out. You're not limited. I know someone who made 3 in 1 year, 3 vision boards, because they want to focus on health and wellness, business and personal. And then rather than put them all on the one board, they just made 3.
And see, I think that's what Talisa is asking about.
So
how
do you
get a better health? So if she focused on her health and flipped through magazines.
So when you're flicking through it, you're looking at someone who's looking happy. So cut that out, because that's health and wellness. Someone who's a really nice meal, cut that out, because that might be a hint to you to think more productively with you eating. All right. Whatever makes you happy or helps you, if it's about your health, what awareness do you need for your health? Is there a particular issue that you need to focus on? So if you need to focus on that, what components of that form part of your regime? It might mean you have to go and do water aerobics, which is more gentle than a normal aerobic, or you might like to walk along the beachfront. So find a pathway next to a beachfront. All these things remind your body that they're positive moves.
Yes. Well, what a blessing that we've spoken about vision boards.
I'm in the process of creating a vision board workshop that I can do virtually, because a few people have said, oh, I still can't travel, or I still can't get there. My challenge is they have to then go and find the cardboard or stuff, because it's not practical to post it, but I can certainly do the tutoring online. And I've got I actually have a couple of YouTube. So look up Marney Perna. I think it's Marney Perna P on YouTube. And I've got several where I've created my own in the early days, where I've gone through and said, this is how I do it. This is what I do. This is the beginning. This is the end. And they're quite informative as well. So they're on my YouTube channel.
Fantastic. Marney Perna. Very, very good. You're out there, which is lovely. I mean, I look at the last 12 months and it's really, I know that you were doing global work before that. It certainly opened us up so much technologically. The fact that we can, I can sing in virtual choirs now rather than going along to one in Melbourne, in a suburb. I can join people interstate or overseas. Fabulous.
Yeah. And that gives such joy to people that get to hear it as well. People are able to go and visit these virtual choirs on their computer, on their phones, and get that joy from that experience. And look, we all understand that face-to-face and hugging and all that kind of thing is very important to life and wellness. But at the moment, we just have to be a little bit cautious. And that cautiousness is helping us to adapt and create different ways of doing things. That's all. It's not forever.
No.
We will come through.
I could do a virtual tour of Buckingham Palace. I went, well, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Sit back and enjoy.
And see, that's the blessing. So rather than focus on the lack, focus on what you have got capacity to do.
Yes.
And that way it reminds you to keep looking for it. Because, look, everyone has bad hair days. Everybody.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who they are. Even the most positive people on the earth have bad hair days. So don't think you're alone. Don't think it's just you. It's not. It's just the people that are more positive just have learnt the habit of being positive. Okay, so they've included it into their day-to-day life, that they're looking for the blessings. And that's where the gratitude jar, which I'm sure we've spoken about on several occasions, start a gratitude jar. Now, sometimes where you are in your life, there might not be huge gratitude, right? So there might be things that are happening that you're doing baby steps for, but they're still positive steps. They're still baby steps. And I know with clients, if I get them to do a gratitude jar, I get them to do it for 6 to 12 months if they can commit to that. And each day, at the end of the day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Now, I say to them, it doesn't matter if each of those 3 things are the same, because it's instilling that into your subconscious awareness. It doesn't always have to be a different statement, but at the end of the year or the end of the time that you've created one, tip all the pieces of paper out and start reading them. And you'll have captured little things that you've forgotten about. And you go, oh, wow, that's right, I forgot about that. And it just reminds you that was such that was pivotal enough for you to write it down. And yet a couple of months later, you had really forgotten it. So you're building those blessings. What are your blessings for this month, Annette?
Oh, well, I moved last month and I have this beautiful 2-bedroom unit that I am incredibly happy with. I'm meeting lovely people. And also, Marnie, I'm grateful that I'm out and about a bit more than I had been. I'm involved in a production that will be shown on film.
Oh, wow.
Later this month, because we can't do it in the reel. However, the blessing of that is people from around the world can take part because it is on film. We're hoping that there will be a live production in Melbourne in November, and that's what we're...
What's that called, Annette?
Yeah.
Can you say what that's called?
Oh, can I? Yes, the night of broken glass. It's yes. There was a production in Melbourne in November 2018, and it was received very well. It's commemorating the fact that William Cooper was a 76, I hope I'm right there, but he was certainly in his 70s, 76-year-old Aboriginal Australian who protested in word to the German government about their the night of broken glass, crystal night.
Okay.
And it was ignored at the time. However, in December last year, it was acknowledged by the German government and president, I believe, and also she apologised on behalf of the Germans. And so this reprise of the Night of Broken Glass is also highlighting, I guess, injustices wherever. So it's very, and what I love about it, Marnie, is that anybody can take part in it. It's involving school children, it's involving people with special needs, dancers, whoever. And so it's very inclusive, and that's a beauty in this day and age where there does seem to be a lot of injustice. Warren Wills, who is the fantastic person, creator and producer, whatever, he believes that music is universal. Everybody can participate and there are no boundaries, and that's really what we're highlighting as well.
That sounds wonderful. Exciting. Look forward to seeing it.
Yeah. So
the not-for-profit group I'm part of for Sir Optimus, we do a bursary for the creative arts, and we've had usually people there. We've done 4 years of it, and 3 of those 4 years are young people in the film and TV industry that are creating documentaries and informative documentaries usually, and the grant goes towards them doing their 3rd year production. So it's a booming. It's not a booming concept, but it's starting to become more readily utilised, I think.
Yes.
And technology is helping with that because it's not as cost exorbitant sort of thing. Like you can make a production and doesn't sort of drain every coffer in your bank.
Yeah.
So it's becoming more easily accessed, maybe the technology and the what you need to film something. Like you can do some things on an iPhone. You know, you don't need the old-fashioned movie camera and things like that.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So a very innovative space at the moment.
Yeah, which is exciting.
That's lovely.
Yes, thank you, Gabby. She might have even disappeared, but she's very grateful that she was able to see us, and we're very grateful that you were here sharing about your vision board.
Absolutely, and her new job.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Yes, I know a few people who are moving into aged care, whether it be supporting aged care and special care as caregivers.
And I think too, you don't generally do that sort of job. People sometimes think, oh, you don't need to train very well, but they do a very intensive training program to actually work in aged care and in the care situation. But you need to be a special kind of person. You need to be someone who can care. Just if you're in that field, remember to have boundaries in your care. Doesn't mean don't care about people. It's just saying don't leech all your energy, because you can leech your energy. You need to protect your heart chakra. So even if you do figure 8, so a figure 8 is just the shape of the universal symbol. You know how you can do the universe in the figure 8, sideways 8. Do that over your heart area, your heart region, your heart chakra, and it helps you to protect some of your own energy. It doesn't mean you're not giving, it just means you're not leeching, which is different. One is giving, one is leeching. So just do with your hand and do the figure 8s like that, just around and around and around, and sort of you're just nurturing yourself.
Yes, that's another, thank you, another gorgeous tip. It's important that we nurture ourselves. I think that's something that's come out of the last 12 months, giving ourselves time, and then having a look at our diaries or our daily, weekly planners and, gee, have I factored in time for me?
And look, sometimes time for you can be as simple as sitting down and having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or something, just 5 minutes. I just read a story to the granddaughters the other day, and it says, my 5 minutes peace. And it's about an elephant, a mother elephant who wants her 5 minutes of peace. And at the end of the day, she counts it up and she said, well, I got my 3 minutes and 45 minutes of peace today, because no matter where she went, they followed her. She went to have a bath. They all came into the bath and wanted to, the baby wanted to join her, but everyone else wanted to listen to things. And I just want 5 minutes peace. And I think any mother at all would have totally related to this story. And it was so, you're smiling the whole way you're reading it, because you're thinking, oh my God, I remember that. Yeah. I can remember hiding in the lounge room one night. So our house had a long hallway and the lounge was at the end of it. And I was sitting on the lounge. It was darker, but I just sat there, just, 5 minutes peace. And I heard the children. I had 3 children. They were running around. They're saying, where's Mum? Mum, they're going, and I just decided not to answer them. And then they started this little conversation, and it was, oh, where do you think she's gone? Oh, do you think she's left? Oh, my God, Mum's left. What are we going to do? How are we going to get? And there's this whole conversation, and I was in the lounge room. I'm thinking, kids, keep walking, you'll find me. But it was fun listening to their stories as well, and what they came up with, their innovation, and why I'd left. Oh my goodness me. So obviously at some stage I've obviously said I'm leaving.
Right.
For whatever reason, I might have been going to the shops or something, but yeah, this is what sat in their mind. So anyhow, it was pretty funny. It was one of those moments that you recount, and even at the time was amusing, because you weren't hiding, you were just sitting. And
good on you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Can't hide in the toilet. They always follow.
Look, even the dog comes to visit me in the toilet. In comes the head. What you doing? Yeah, toilet's not the easiest one. Yeah. Or else someone wants to use it. That's the other thing. You're sitting there for your 5 minutes peace, and I need to go. Yeah.
Belinda saying, listening to you lovely ladies is my time of blessings, learning and receiving.
Lovely. Thank you, Belinda.
Yeah, thank you, Belinda, for sharing with us. That's
I looked at, yeah, one of the blessings today is a story from geranium, the plant geranium. So most people would know a geranium. It's got that big leaf, and then it has very, very colourful flowers. So it's universal flower. And it takes you from feeling disconnected to feeling attuned. So when you're disconnected, you can't see your blessings, you can't find them. When you're attuned, you're tapping into your blessings, and you're in what you said earlier, Annette, you're in the flow. When you're in the flow, things, doesn't mean everything works out perfectly, but what it means, things start to work out better.
Right.
So just remember that geranium helps you to realize there's different times in your life as well. So when you're trying to count your blessings, is your personal energy in wintertime, summertime, autumn, or spring? And what does that mean in your personal regime, health and wellness or finances or whatever? So just think of what the season means, and is that happening in your life, or what do you need to put into your life to create a positive part of the season? Because you can use the seasons to help you cope. But it just says here that geranium has a refreshing scent that gently reduces extremes within the inner thought process and helps to bring balance and harmony to the emotions. All right. So if you're in a state of chaos, how can you harmonize? How can you bring things back to peace? So either Talisa or Belinda, think of that. If you're looking for a bit of harmony, find a geranium flower and put that on your vision board, or the word geranium. Or for me, the oil geranium would be very uplifting as well.
Right. Or if you've got them, cut them. And I used to love putting them inside.
Yes, absolutely. And what do they bring back from a memory too, Annette? If someone would say, oh, my mum used to have geraniums, or they were so-and-so's favourite flowers. So that, again, it's a blessing for the memory to come forward.
Yeah. I used to find a dried one out, and this happened especially just before I left number 5, facing the front door, and there's no way known. The wind took it there. It was like, thank you, Barry. It was just amazing.
So geraniums mean something to you as well?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
I would go for a morning walk, and find people would pick geraniums and leave them on the footpath. I would bring them home and strike them. And I had a beautiful pink climbing geranium over my fence. It was just gorgeous.
Now, how's that? And that's the angels coming through with synchronicity, right? To pick a flower that's not a common flower, although it's easily found, it doesn't always mean something to everyone. So when words and pictures bring forward a memory of pleasure, it's perfect. It's an angel blessing. So blessings to you today, Annette.
Well, thank you, Marnie. Now, Belinda has an interesting comment because she loves geraniums. She was looking at how big they were for her yesterday, and she was thinking that she needs to cut them back.
So Annette just told you what to do with those. You share your cuttings with others.
Yeah, because I must admit mine were getting completely out of hand, and it saddened me to have to cut because I let them get too out of hand.
Yeah.
And then I was having to trim them back so hugely. Yeah. It was like, oh, what can I do with these? And I would have been gifting the whole neighbourhood if I had taken cuttings from them.
But remember that they can be a blessing of mulch as well. They didn't have to be gifted in the form of what they were. They could be put them in your compost and they'll create mulch and really lovely mulch. And you might have got little ones coming up from that.
That's true.
You know, so think outside the square a little bit with the use of them as well. But when you're doing it, you just do it with love. You know, which one am I going to cut? Guide me. Okay, well, this is what I'm doing.
Right. Yeah. Gorgeous. Now, Carol Ann is loving the show. Thank you so much for joining us, Carol Ann, ahead of your show in about an hour and a half. I'd just like to let people know again that Carol Ann and Anaya will be having guest Philip on talking about Alzheimer's. So,
I'll see if I can tap in because I've just discovered a device that is helpful for people with Alzheimer's, with their memory kind of thing, that I'm investigating for my dad at the moment. It's like a virtual diary, but it's one that you can input everything into it. So it might say doctor's appointment, the time, when it is, and who's picking you up or where they're picking you up or what it's about. So it's kind of people with Alzheimer's and dementia can't always remember what's going on, but they remember a little bit. So it becomes part of their focus, is that one little bit they can remember. Because if they can constantly look at it all day, they're getting the answer all day long. They're not having to ring someone or find someone to ask the question. And with my dad, I'm trying to see if it can be done with an audio aspect as well, because his eyesight's going.
Right.
So if they can do it as an audio recording or the voice is telling him, it will help him there.
See, again, what a blessing. Technology.
I know, and it was one of those random finds. I can't even remember where I eventually first saw it.
You needed it. See, it appeared.
Yeah. And she's a local. Like when I rang her, she lives like 20 kilometres away.
Fabulous.
Perfect.
Now, Carol Ann saying that would be fabulous. And Belinda last week gave away cuttings of a beautiful frangipani tree. Yes, it's very easy, isn't it, to gift if we have too much of anything, or if we have to, especially in the garden, if we have to cut back, by all means, people do.
My husband's been gifting mangoes. So he had a lovely crop of mangoes this year, so we've been able to share mangoes.
How delightful.
I have an abundance of mango chutney.
Gorgeous. Yes, and I agree, Belinda. A beautiful gesture of kindness erupted into a community circle of love by me giving away cuttings of my frangipani. You know, a
Lovely.
simple act, just fabulous. Well, guess what, Marnie?
I know, I can't believe it.
Our time is
I saw that too. So.
come and gone. Amazing. So thank you, everybody, for making this such a wonderful, wonderful show. Well, I'm on a high. I'm sure you are too, Marnie. So thank you, Marnie. And thank you, everyone, for joining us and sharing in our discussion on blessings. So please look for the blessings and create blessings for yourself and others. Bye for now.
Bye.